We have to go through the vetting process.
Have any American citizens, including children, been deported during your time in office?
We have children that mothers have chosen to keep with them. So those
by my count, you have 10 American citizens, including children with cancer, who have been deported out of the country. I understand. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you for being here. You know, Michigan's a border state, so we need each other. We have a very big bridge that's being inaugurated, ribbon cut in September. We need that to be fully staffed. We have a lot going on in Michigan as a northern border state, so we need each other. But what I'm concerned about is that you've taken the mandate to close off the border beyond going after, as you say, the, quote, most dangerous illegal immigrants. I'm a CIA officer. I work my entire life to protect the homeland. If someone's here illegally, they need to not be here. They've committed a crime by being here. They need to go back to wherever they're from. But my concern is that either through sloppiness or intent, you have gone far beyond going after the, quote, most dangerous illegal immigrants and gone into legal immigrants who were given the ability to be here, and even American citizens. And when I think about that, you know, there are lots of people in this country, including me, who have families who fled this kind of environment where they have no rights, where they have no due process, where they don't have habeas corpus. So while I'll be the first to say, coming from a state that was won by Trump, that there is a mandate to do something about the border, I think it is absolute dangerous overreach to go beyond that and start picking up American citizens and people who have the legal right to be here, lawful immigrants who have done everything right. So first and foremost, do you acknowledge that your department has made some mistakes, any mistakes, in going after either American citizens or legal immigrants here in the time that you've been in office?
We have not deported any U.S. citizens.
Detained?
Or people get interviewed. If they get interviewed and they go through that process, and if we find that they're U.S. citizens or legal immigrants, they stay in the United States.
Have you deported
we have to go through the vetting process.
Have any American citizens, including children, been deported during your time in office?
We have children that mothers have chosen to keep with them. So those
by my count, you have 10 American citizens, including children with cancer, who have been deported out of the country.
What we just witnessed was not a heated argument or a political stunt. It was a defining moment in the ongoing debate about what kind of country America wants to be. Congresswoman Elissa Slotkin didn't just question Governor Noem. She dissected, layer by layer, a disturbing reality that's been unfolding quietly under the banner of border security. Her tone was calm, but her message was piercing. America's promise of justice and due process is being tested, and if we're not careful, that promise could collapse under the weight of political fearmongering. Slotkin's words cut deep because they come from experience. She's not speaking from a place of partisanship. She's a former CIA officer who spent her career protecting this country from real threats. So when she draws a line between national security and political overreach, she knows exactly what she's talking about. She reminds us that security without justice is not protection. It's oppression dressed up as patriotism. And her warning was crystal clear. We are now in dangerous territory. The mandate to keep America safe has been twisted into something else entirely. A system where lawful immigrants, students, and even American citizens can be swept up, detained, and deported in the name of enforcement. Think about that. Families who fled authoritarian regimes for the freedoms of this country are now watching those same tactics appear on American soil. People with legal status, people who followed the rules, are living in fear that one bureaucratic mistake or political decision could strip away everything they've built here. Slotkin put her finger on what makes this moment so chilling. The erosion of habeas corpus, the very foundation of American liberty. The idea that no one, not even the president, should have unchecked power to detain or deport people without due process. When Slotkin pressed Noem on whether any American citizens had been deported, she wasn't just asking for a number. She was calling attention to the soul of American democracy, the promise that every citizen, every human being within U.S. borders, has rights that must be respected. And what was most disturbing is that the response she got was not one of reassurance, but deflection. We haven't deported any U.S. citizens, Noem said, and yet, evidence shows children with cancer, families torn apart, citizens forced to leave the only country they've ever known. Calling that a choice isn't leadership, it's moral cowardice. Slotkin's face said what millions of Americans are thinking. This is not who we are.
I understand you're saying it's their choice.
But
It's hard to imagine a small child having a choice. But have you gone after legal immigrants? Again, your standard in your opening statement was the most dangerous illegal immigrants. Does that include PhD students and master's students at colleges across the country, unarmed? Are they the most dangerous illegal when they have status and no weapons?
I don't decide who gets status through a student program. This Department of State decides that, and we enforce it.
Oh, come on.
That's what our Department of Homeland Security does.
I just would offer that, again, I have no qualms with going after folks who are here illegally. That is not my concern. That was part of my job, was to prevent people from coming here illegally in a former life. My concern is you're sending a chill down the spine of America by going after people who either have legal status or American citizens. And when my colleagues ask you about habeas corpus, and you say, literally, we can review the tape, that you believe it's a right the president has, you sat here in front of all of us and swore an oath to the Constitution, and that is not at all what habeas corpus is. It is a right that we all get, that American citizens get, that people who are in the United States legally have. So my concern is it's complete overreach. I don't think American citizens, even those who voted for Trump, believe that you should be able to just grab someone off the street, sloppy, who has the legal right to be here, and certainly an American citizen. And I just am concerned that while you say you're going after the most dangerous folks, what you're actually doing is going after folks for political reasons, right? A PhD student that's unarmed is not at the top of the list.
And we're not deporting U.S. citizens, and we're not deporting people who have legal status here.
10 American citizens
If the children have gone with their parents, it's because their parents wanted them with them.
So let me ask you another question about cybersecurity. You know, you've cut $500 million from the budget. What specific programs are you cutting? Because there are programs that really aid states and locals that we depend on for cybersecurity. And we know that right now, while we may have good security in the federal government, if you are a local state official, you're depending on the federal government. So have you cut the ISAC program, the program to states and locals on cybersecurity?
The president's recommended budget has a reduction in $491 million.
Does it cut that program? I've heard the talking point.
And what it's doing is putting CISA back on mission.
And it's ensuring that cybersecurity is going to be strengthened. You cannot say it's the most cybersecure administration if you're cutting the program to my state and to your state.
It will
if you look on record, that's what you've cut. I yield back.
Time has expired. Senator Hawley.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Secretary Noem, good to see you.
But she didn't stop there. She turned the conversation toward another critical issue: cybersecurity. And here's why that matters, because true national security isn't just about walls or deportations. It's about protecting America's digital backbone, our hospitals, our schools, our elections. Yet, as Slotkin pointed out, this administration is cutting nearly $500 million from cybersecurity programs that protect local governments and critical infrastructure. That's not just short-sighted, it's reckless. You can't claim to be running the most cybersecure administration in history while gutting the very programs that make that security possible. What Slotkin exposed was the deeper contradiction at the heart of current Republican leadership: the willingness to use fear as a tool to pit security against humanity and to weaponize the machinery of government against the very people it's supposed to protect. Democrats like Slotkin are reminding the country that strength doesn't come from cruelty. It comes from conviction. Protecting borders should never mean betraying our values. Defending America should never mean deporting Americans. This exchange wasn't just about immigration, it was about accountability, morality, and the Constitution itself. And that's what makes it so powerful. It forces all of us to confront uncomfortable questions. How much are we willing to sacrifice in the name of security? When the government oversteps and innocent people pay the price, who will speak up? Slotkin did what true leaders do. She used her platform not just to challenge authority, but to educate the nation. She reminded us that democracy isn't self-sustaining. It requires vigilance, empathy, and courage. And she showed that holding people in power accountable is not anti-American. It's the very essence of being American. So if you're watching this and wondering what you can do, start by paying attention. Question the narratives that use fear to divide us. Support leaders who fight for the rule of law and human dignity, not those who twist it for political gain. Because democracy doesn't die in one moment, it dies slowly in silence when good people stop demanding better. Elissa Slotkin didn't stay silent, and neither should we. If you believe in accountability, fairness, and compassion as pillars of this nation. Share this video, start the conversation, and make your voice heard. This is not about left or right, it's about right and wrong. America can be strong without being cruel, can be secure without being unjust. And if leaders like Slotkin continue to speak truth to power, there's still hope that we'll live up to the ideals we claim to defend.